How do children learn a language? There are two broad types of skill to the language learning process. We have pattern finding ability and intention reading. First, we have pattern finding ability. It is a general cognitive skill to recognize patterns. Even children under a year old can already do that. An experiment was done. Infants were able to recognize patterns in sounds they were exposed to. They were exposed to 4 nonsense words, with each 3 syllables. These words were put in different orders. The infant then, later, were exposed to a new series of nonsense words. They were played on each side of the infant. It seemed that the infant preferably looked in the direction to the familiar sounds rather than the new ones, even though they were formed as different words. That means that infants can already identify different syllables. This pattern learning ability is not specific for humans, as it is not only restricted to language. Linguist Michael Tomancello talked about human cultural intelligence. We humans are pro-social, which means that we show cooperative behavior, for example, communicating via language. Another experiment showed that infants prefer to look at drawings of faces rather than other types of patterns. Babies also don't talk when other humans are talking. They wait their turn, which is amazing that they can identify this at such a young age. Second, we have intention reading. It allows infants to begin to connect specific patterns with meaning. This intention reading relies on 3 elements: common ground, intention, and imitation. Take a look at the scheme. The common ground. There has to be a common ground. For example, when a parent is playing with its child and a toy, there is a 3-way relationship between child, parent, toy. The common ground. Second, we have intention. The child must recognize that language represents a special kind of intention, as communication and shared attention. For example, the parent wants to learn the child that this toy is a teddy bear. Imitation. They also need to learn to imitate this role that a parent shows to learn how to communicate. The child learns that the teddy bear is an object which they can refer to, so that they can signal a communicative intention. Another experiment was done about understanding intention. There were 2 children. One was shown how to tear some item apart from each other. The other child was shown the same procedure, but the adult failed to do so. Still, both children could, when asked, tear it apart, even though one child was only shown the intention to tear it apart, not the result. Towards a theory of language learning. This above still doesn't explain how children learn the grammatical part of a language at such a young age. Linguist Ronald Langecker said that the grammatical knowledge is derived from language use. So the infant generalizes the patterns of language use. That's why a lot of children say fishes instead of fish, because the plural in their head is plus es or s. A consequence of his usage-based account is how frequently a child hears an expression determines how well established this child expression comes to be in developing their mental grammar. John Bybee showed this in a frequency diagram, as you can see on the PowerPoint. Some words are more often used, which results in better knowledge of the words and its grammar. In the diagram, you can see that the word lie is more often used than the word falsehood. In the diagram, it's represented with the multiple boxes of how frequently a child hears the word. Learning what to say from what isn't said. How do children learn what not to say? Adele Goldberg said, "They learn what not to say from what isn't said." Children learn grammar rules, such as where a noun and a direct object should be, by hearing them. In this example sentence, she saw the window cleaner who was afraid. The grammatical structure is weird for us, though still correct, but we still do understand the meaning of the simple sentence. If we change it a little bit, for example, she saw the scared window cleaner, It is already much more logical in our heads, although both are correct. This slight change of words, the word scared instead of afraid, changes a lot. The child learns that scared is of better use here because they hear it more often. And that is why children learn grammar by using patterns that we saw earlier. They learn from what they hear, and so these grammar rules are built in their brain by doing so.